Nintendo stuff. Welcome to Nintendo Stuff for the first time in over half a year. My name's Brandon Miracle. You might know me over at Good Vibes Gaming, but this is Break Room Arcade. This is my turf. I'm joined today by the co-founders of Break Room Arcade, Paul Anderson and Logan Welliver.
Yep.
And our special guests, David. Do you want to be David? Or
Yeah.
Okay. Joined by
This
David.
is what it says on my birth certificate.
And joined by Daniel, also known as Evernight Studio / Night Tide.
Hello.
/ 70 other names I could probably give you. But yeah, it's been a while.
Sorry.
But we decided now would be a good time to come back. I have kind of settled into a new workflow. Well, sort of. I'm doing my best here. But we have a good reason to come back, specifically this week. That we didn't plan it this way. However, we scheduled our return stream for today. What was it like?
We definitely planned it this way. Don't lie to them.
Like
Don't
2
lie.
weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, we were like, "What's the day of the week that works?" All right, great.
When's the
What's
Nintendo
next?
Direct?
Yeah. Okay, let's make it happen. And then it happened, and then it just happened to be on the day of the Nintendo Direct.
I woke up to a message from Daniel saying, "You guys really picked a good day," and I was like, "What are you talking about?"
That was so funny that you invited me, and then like literally a few days later they announced the direct on the same day. I was like, "What kind of Nintendo stuff are we going to talk about?" Oh, okay, I guess we got that cleared already.
All the Nintendo stuff is the answer.
It would have
All of
just been news had it not been for this direct. But now, because of the direct, we have a lot of news to talk about. But before we get into that, David and Daniel, starting with you, David, why don't you let people know who you are and where they can find you?
Hey, what's up, guys? My name is David. I am head over at Common RDW on both YouTube and Twitch. I do geeky nerd stuff for geeky nerd people, as in like live streams. I'm gonna start doing more videos on YouTube recently, and also just hanging out on awesome podcasts like this one. And also, Brandon is itching to say I'm an industry insider, but shh, it's okay. It's okay. Shh. Shh,
It's okay.
it's okay. E3 is gonna be lit next year, I hope.
Me too.
I hope so.
Daniel, what about you?
So yeah, I'm Daniel, otherwise known as Evernight Studio. I'm the art director for Good Vibes Gaming, and I also do a sideshow on the channel that we just started last week. Good Vibes Arcade, where me and Brandon here get to play games together once a week, and it's been really fun so far. We've been really powering through that, and we've just been working as hard as we can to help make Good Vibes Gaming grow.
Yeah, no, I couldn't have asked for a better partner in crime for that. Yeah. But now I think we can get into the news. Let me open up this link so I can remember everything that happened. I guess starting out, we could talk about what I consider to be the coolest thing in this direct, being Kirby.
I was about to say, can we just go around and say like what our top thing is? Because mine is also Kirby. Not expected. Not expected at all.
Apparently, it leaked a couple hours or a day before, and I didn't know.
It did leak.
Some people weren't. Yeah, some people weren't
So
super
that was a
surprised
leak.
about it, and I was like, I had no clue, bro.
I woke up and I was like closing out like the news push notifications on my phone, and I saw Kirby's name and just swiped it as quick as I could. So I had some indication, but I didn't actually know.
Yeah, this.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happened with me. Like I saw, I think on our Discord, someone mentioned Kirby, and I was like, nope, I'm not gonna look at that. I'm gonna wait, because I somehow slept through the initial leakage of that. So I was trying to just stay blacked out until that time happened, and I think it was worth it.
Oh, I thought you avoided it.
I think after we had our conversation, there was like someone in our actual and in that Discord had mentioned something about, so do you think this leak is real? And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna touch this one until later. So
It came
slightly
from their-
spoiled.
Came from their website. Of course, it's real.
I know, right?
That would have been
What a
some really.
sad place. What a sad source for a leak is your own website.
It's been happening
But,
to Nintendo more often lately that they're just leaking their own stuff.
Maybe they
Yeah.
need to like reevaluate the employee who's in charge of like their web content, and just like Maybe
Who has
like
the button that just says release and just tell them to get away from the button?
Assuming they still have their job. I hope they do.
So it's
We've all
always
done
it's
it.
always it's always intern Coon's fault.
I mean, it's okay. Like they're probably like sweeping instead now. Someone has to. It's a good job.
But in terms of like what I thought was the hypest thing, like Kirby for me was like probably second hype. For me, it was Bayonetta 3. It's been 5 years. Like every single one, everyone's just summoned circling Bayonetta 3 into existence, and it finally happened. And that was the big one for me. I was just taken aback, and they also faked me out. Those people. I thought it was
Yeah.
Astral Chain 2. Literally, everyone thought it was Astral Chain 2.
Because you saw Lappy right there
Yeah,
right before.
but
He was
it's
like,
like-
wait,
Because you're on a roller coaster of emotions because you see
Yeah.
Platinum and you're like Bayonetta, but then you're like, this doesn't look like Bayonetta, and then you see the dog and you're like, oh, it's good for them, and then you see Bayonetta come in and you're like, yes. So
Yeah,
it was good. It was a good day.
I'm happy to see Bayonetta finally. I was
About damn time.
suspecting we might see it in this direct after those recent comments we had from like Kamiya saying we can't show it but we want to, and I'm like, I think that means they're gonna show
When
it.
did you say that?
Like 2
The-
weeks ago.
it's all back. Yeah.
Oh,
See, I haven't played Bayonetta 1 and 2, so
Oh.
this isn't all that hype for me. I get it, and I'll say my reaction was this. I should play Bayo 1 and 2.
yeah.
So
That was a great time.
probably have
yeah.
to grab those on Switch at some point.
A lot of people actually thought it was Xenoblade. I know Brandon Bovia in our chat is mentioning that as well.
Oh, Xenoblade. No.
The font, right?
Because yeah, the subtitle font is the same. And we do expect Xenoblade to come at some point, but I guess today was not the day.
Wasn't today.
Xenoblade game worked with Platinum would have been pretty dope. Actually, I welcome that.
I was questioning that during the stream at GVG if that's what was happening, because like you said, I wasn't sure what game we were seeing until Bayonetta showed up.
I never stopped holding out hope until I saw the protagonist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it looks like the game is adding kaiju level battles, which looks pretty hype
Gotta-
to me.
We're in the kaiju phase of entertainment right now, so
That's true. But yeah, I like what's going on there. I was surprised we actually got to see gameplay, which doesn't often happen with these kinds of reveals. So that was
I mean,
A
with
nice
this
change.
much time that we've been waiting,
point, yeah, they
please
can't not.
show us just a
Yeah.
little bit of gameplay. Doesn't have to be much. A little bit.
Last thing we saw was basically her body, Thanos snap away in front of our eyes. So I'd love
The-
to see her in action.
internet's been rife with theories about that so far, because Bayonetta's new look is I guess spoiler alert for Bayonetta 1.
Uh-oh. It's,
Is similar to her younger self. I guess I'll just say that. Like the hairstyle and stuff is young Cereza, which is interesting because we also get that character at the end, who for 1 second I was like, "Is this Dante?" But no,
It's like
I
a Devil May Cry ass character. So
I think it's actually Jean. Because the red
That'd
is
be
her
pretty-
motif, and I think she might be. I think there's some timey-wimey stuff happening here, and I think she might be going back in time to save Bayonetta from what we saw in that initial teaser. But I could be wrong.
There's got to be something like that because I remember the voice actress said that she might not. It was implied that she might not come back to voice Bayonetta.
Yeah, yeah.
So if this like older Cereza is someone else voicing her, that could kind of imply like why that happened. But it's yeah. There's so many theories about this right now. We're not really sure like what does this mean for like is there going to be Bayonetta and this older version of Cereza, because it didn't actually state that was Bayonetta during the trailer itself.
Yeah, it could be like an alternate timeline Bayonetta where something in her
Mhm.
past didn't play out the same way. And you know, that'd be kind of neat. Bayonetta, I've always thought Bayonetta's had a good story, especially 2.
2 was a wild ride.
Yeah.
I need to really play 2 again.
So I'm glad that seems to still be here. It's Bayonetta, and it looks like Bayonetta, and that's all I could really ask for.
I like the
Yeah.
purple. I like the purple a lot.
Yeah, it
I
looks
think it's
good.
a good color choice for this entry.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Mhm.
I just love her design. It's kind of like a mix between
She
her
never
1 and 2
missed,
designs.
bro. She has never missed. She is so good at dressing.
Yeah, her Bayonetta 2 look is kind of like her iconic look to me now because of Smash Brothers, but
Oh, the short hair too.
I kind of want this look to be added to Smash Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
We do have the presentation in 2 weeks. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I'm crossing my fingers anyway.
Give us that costume pack, God, please.
Yeah, we got the new suit for Samus. There's a lot to pull from.
Are we gonna dive more into Bayonetta 3 right now, or are we gonna come back later? Because I have a whole bunch of stuff.
Oh, go for it.
Okay, so for Bayonetta 3, her whole like aesthetic, like you know how she always does the dances to summon monsters and stuff with her hair and stuff. So her dancing looks a lot more idolish now than it like before. It looks like she was like a lot more sexy with it, a lot more allure with it. But now it's like, oh, she looks like she's having fun. Like she's doing a whole bunch of like hand movement, like she's doing choreography, and TikTok's gonna go crazy with that.
Who kind of like felt like her moves were a lot different than they used to be. Because there's something about it, like once she started, that I was like, this.
Like when she did the bow and she looked like she was
a
a little more smiley with it, and it's like when she's doing when they're doing the kaiju battles, it's like she's dancing while controlling it, and it looks like idol choreography. So and also her outfit doesn't look as like skin tight as it was before. Now it almost looks like a goth Lolita type of outfit because it's like yeah, it looks more frilly around the waist. So when she's doing all those turns and stuff, it's like flowy. So if it was to be like a younger version of herself or like some other version of Bayonetta, I could see this being like that character's aesthetic where it's like she likes the idol type of stuff. She likes the more cutesy stuff than the other more like mature, sexy allure of Bayonetta was that we know. So that was my whole thing. I was like, this is cool. I like this thing they're going for.
All the threads are coming together for that theory. It's all coming together. That's cool. I didn't even really pick up on that. I'm glad you mentioned that. But yeah, Bayonetta 3, I think it was just slated for 2022. No window.
Yeah, no window.
Okay.
I was hoping they were gonna like they kind of like slashed to the 2022, and I thought they're gonna like
today. And I was like, oh,
Shadow drop.
Yeah, that was definitely a fake out because I thought the same thing. But no, it was a reveal for that character who we don't know who it is. Could be Dante.
I hope they give us
could be Jean.
a demo. I hope they give us a demo because with Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U, they gave us basically what was the prologue of the second game, and that was a long, beefy prologue. It was like if you were to show somebody the first 30 minutes of Bayonetta 1, everything happens. It's like a whole thing where she gets her new outfit. She's flying through the air on a like shifting dimensions on a bridge. And then she gets the thing, and you're fighting on the side of a skyscraper. And then you have pretty much what is that shot they did where her monster was about to punch the other monster in the face. That seemed like very early game stuff to me. So they literally showed us nothing. Like Bayonetta has a whole bunch of set piece ass fights, and this looks like this is like early game prologue shit. So I'm like very hype about that.
Yeah, that'd be a cool way to introduce us to the new Bayonetta, assuming there's something going on there with her character. Just to throw us right in, because that's what they do. Did the battle theme have lyrics, or was it just instrumental this time?
It seemed very stock to me. Like there's no like tomorrow is mine type of thing playing.
Yeah, I was kind of disappointed in that because I really love Fly Me to the Moon in the first one, and then Tomorrow is Mine in the second. So if we don't have like a lyrical battle theme in the third one, I'll be a little bummed.
I saw some people. What'd you say, Paul?
Oh, just give me a new bop for the playlist, please.
Oh yeah, I saw some people saying that on her gun it said "Color My World," and apparently that is a song that was gonna be sang by Frank Sinatra because her other ones were, but apparently he didn't get that song or something. So and it's a song from Chicago, that musical Chicago. Yeah, so they're gonna remake another old song to be her theme song. So
I'll take it. It's like a staple of the series. Even if we don't end up getting those songs in Smash Brothers, which bums me out, but
Yeah.
But I think moving away from Bayonetta 3, I do want to talk a little more in depth about Kirby because there's a lot to digest here with that game.
So.
The Kirby team had been discussing that they wanted to change Kirby like in a big meaningful way, and everybody assumed that was going to be a 3D platformer, and turns out that's what happened. So we're getting a 3D platformer Kirby. Is it Kirby in the Forgotten City? Forgotten Lands. Thank you. Which happens to take place in a city. But David, I think you mentioned some interesting things about that earlier before we started the show, like the mall.
Oh yeah. So, someone noticed that the mall looks like it is a reference to a location from Kirby 64, which was like the Shiver Star location, and it's like a mall that you were running through one of those levels. So they're like, oh, they're referencing that, so that's cool. But then also, in the opening scene where Kirby gets revealed, his face is in the sand, he lifts up. That's also a reference that they feel is from Kirby 64 too. So if they're doing a whole bunch of like harken back stuff, or they're expanding on settings that we could have been in before, but like modernizing them and just like making them look cooler, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, for sure. This doesn't feel to me like a full 3D conversion, like a Mario Odyssey type deal, because we have like a fixed camera in a lot of the areas. It looks like, and it just faces Kirby from, or it just it faces Kirby's back most of the time from the footage we've seen. So it makes me wonder if they're gonna have like kind of a mix between more open world and like Super Mario 3D World style level designs.
Yeah.
I think it kind of makes sense to like have a fixed camera at certain points and kind of like guide players, because it is a Kirby game, so you're assuming like generally younger audiences are going to be playing this.
Right.
So giving them like a little bit more direction through the levels might not be a bad idea.
Yeah, actually, my big thing for this is like, how is it structured, right? Like, is this just gonna be like another Kirby game except it's in 3D, or is this like, a situation in which they are taking more influence from, the Mario games and just being able to kind of just, like kind of go wherever. Somebody mentioned, in the I think in our our local Discord, relatively local Discord, that like, oh, is this an open world game? I heard it was an open world game, and that one was interesting to me. I don't know. I think this hit me like a ton of bricks because like I've played, Kirby before, and I've played, different iterations. I remember playing Kirby's Epic Yarn on the Wii, and some of the older ones as well. And it always fascinated me that they never got around to actually doing like a 3D Kirby. So what does that mean? How is this game structured? Regardless, it looks absolutely adorable. I got such good feels seeing this for the first time. My heart fluttered. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe this exists. I get to be, Kirby in this completely different sense, and I don't know. I want to touch it. I want to play it.
The second he jumped up on the beach and like his physics, he just starts like jiggling. I was just in love.
So squishy.
I just wanted to hold him so bad.
Speaking to the structure a little bit, I recall a scene in the trailer where I think he frees like 3 Waddle Dees from a cage.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
apparently, I'm looking like looping this trailer as we're talking about it. Apparently, those Waddle Dees were in the cage around that gorilla thing's neck, so it could be like, somehow the Waddle Dees or people that Kirby knows are getting captured by other creatures in this area that he's in, and he has to like go around and free them or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of a nice change because despite like King Dedede not always being the villain, there's like always Waddle Dee enemies, so I feel like they might be getting away from that, which is kind of nice. Rather than having Kirby destroy a bunch of Waddle Dees for no reason, he's gonna go out and save them. For a while during this trailer, I was actually afraid that we weren't gonna get any copy abilities because they saved that for real late in the trailer, and they only showed Sword Kirby, which I thought was an interesting choice.
That showed sword, ice, fire, needle.
Oh, did they
And
show
color.
others? Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they showed a good selection.
Okay, I guess Sword is the only one that actually resonated with my brain.
Well, they showed the most of, so that would make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. But it is
Oh,
going
man.
to be really interesting with this, right? So like with Kirby in general, like we've all, like Logan said, we've all played Kirby games. We all know how Kirby goes. And personally for me, like the last Kirby game I played was Star Allies, and I never really owned Star Allies. I rented it when you could do that. I rented it and like beat it in like a 7-day rental and never touched it again. Even though they went back and added more content,
A lot
Kirby's
of
always
content.
been like if you've been playing games forever, you can just zoom through a Kirby game. So this one for sure is going to be a pickup for me because it's like new dimensions, new areas. We're going to get to also see how these powers work in the third dimension now, because now it's like he can run around. He like with the cutter with the needle ability, he has this move that kind of harkens back again to 64, where he like needles up entirely and then he can roll and pick up things with it. So
Get him already.
yeah. So it's gonna be really cool to see how they take his abilities and adjust them for an open space rather than just left and right.
I mean I think that's where I feel that this clicks for me, is that I see a sandbox. That's what I see. That's what's been communicated to me, that there's just, here's a world, go out into it. And like, a lot of the Mario games, sometimes you just have to go different places, right? But there's multiple different things you could be doing at any given moment.
Yeah, this is basically Kirby's Mario Odyssey moment. I don't know how far that'll go, but even with like 20 or 30 copy abilities, like you guys are saying, there's a lot of potential for how those copy abilities can work in a 3D space. And what I'd like to see more from copy abilities, and they did a little bit of this in Star Allies, but I want those copy abilities to be more relevant to the actual platforming you're doing. Like, I want
to look like this now.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that in the older games, like when you're collecting like the special things that you need to get like the true ending. But if they integrated it more into the actual platforming design, I think it'll make Kirby's world a little more interesting, because that's the issue I actually have with most of the 2D games, is I don't find the levels themselves to be that interesting.
Yeah, I think like you said also, like since this is pretty much Kirby's Odyssey, we haven't even seen that hook yet. This is the establishing trailer. This is the Kirby's in 3D. Okay, bye. And then we're going to be like, okay, but what's the hook though? So then we haven't seen Kirby doing like a black hole suck yet. We haven't seen like co-op, if there's co-op, because that was the big thing with Star Allies. We had co-op for, well, the enemy co-op thing, but we haven't seen co-op, which they could totally pull that off here. We haven't seen the hook yet. And when they show that, that's going to sell a lot of people, because those big second hook trailers always get people.
Yeah,
well,
this was
I can't fathom what that would be with this game.
With these like newer enemy types, hopefully we get some newer like copy abilities that like, that's why we haven't really seen a whole lot of like new copy abilities. And hopefully those will actually play more into that platforming.
Yeah, like if there was like a core copy ability that the game is kind of built around that you keep going back to, I think that could be an interesting idea. Or maybe there's like 5 core copy abilities that get used throughout the game that you constantly go back to. Logan, I can see the cogs turning in your head.
I was thinking about all the different copy abilities, and then I thought of another 3D platformer that has a ton.
Oh, don't tell me. I know I know what you're talking about.
A ton of different abilities in it that are entirely useless.
Balan Wonderworld.
Oh no.
I don't think that'll be this. This looks a million times more put together than Balan Wonderworld. I keep watching the trailer again and again, and every shot, I'm like, I love this. I love all the green. I love Kirby. I love all of the different enemies on the screen. Some of the bosses. I love that big like gorilla boss. Oh, such a good feel.
I just think it's crazy how flexible Kirby is as a character, bro. Like Kirby can survive the apocalypse. He survived the wiping in freaking Smash Brothers. You can put him in realistic settings. You can put him in his own world. Like, and also going off of Kirby lore too, there's gonna be a big nope looking enemy in this game. Kirby has fought the of actual eternity. Like, we don't know what's gonna happen in this game.
Kirby is canonically a god slayer.
Literally, Kirby is a god slayer.
If you haven't seen the final boss of Star Allies, he literally
disgusting.
Yeah,
It's
he slays gods. He's canonically like the strongest Nintendo character.
It's gonna be so dope whatever they pull off with this. So
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to.
And
seeing
he's
more from
only a
this.
child.
He's a baby.
He is
Hear me out,
baby.
though. I really want to see Kirby inhale that T-Rex from Mario Odyssey and then transform into a Kirbyfied version of that.
That'd
Dude,
be
they
a fun
have like
throwback.
space now. Kirby could actually like morph, like they turn Kirby into like an actual big, like, what if they get a kaiju Kirby? Like I still think someone mentioned that before. What if we just get a kaiju Kirby or something?
Rather
That'd
than
be-
him getting like a hat or something, like
He just
he
changes
just
form
turns
entirely.
into the
Literally.
actual form of it.
This giant
Oh.
pink Godzilla.
He's gonna
It turns
swallow.
right realistic.
He's gonna swallow the entire planet and become the planet, and that's how you're gonna fight
Kirby
the final
is
boss.
the Forgotten Land.
Yeah. The Forgotten Land is all that empty space in his stomach.
He becomes
Oh,
a
man.
he becomes a building in the Forgotten Land.
So there's plenty we could speculate on Kirby, but we don't know much right
Yeah.
now. But that said, I'm pretty excited for it. Daniel, did you have any other thoughts before we moved on?
I really hope that this game can like actually take more influences from Kirby 64. It seems like they are taking a lot of influences from Kirby 64 for one reason or another. If they're gonna do that, bring back dual copy abilities. Why not do that instead? Do
Oh,
that in
that's
the
a good
3D
idea.
space.
Yeah.
Because it feels like this the way that it's being presented, it feels like more like a Kirby from 2D is taking the leap that Mario 3D World took, where you're taking like something that's familiar and just putting it into a 3D situation. We don't know really how much more this game is going to take influence off of like games that really expand the free roaming. Like, is this going to be a sandbox game? Is it going to be like stage by stage? We're still wondering like what exactly kind of shape and form that's going to take. But otherwise, like I love what I see so far. It looks so cool. Kirby is finally taking the apocalyptic the destroyed city thing that we've been seeing in so many different games now. Like, watch out near Automata and Horizon Zero Dawn, because Kirby's here to take over this genre.
Great
But,
about. Oh yeah. I was gonna say what's so great about just that Nintendo charm is just like you said, we can have Nier, we can have Last of Us, we can have Horizon, but then we can just get a video game like just Kirby in the same setting, and we're like, that's
Oh,
good.
man.
Actually,
I'm glad we
Kirby
don't have to
trailer.
wait long either. I'm like so
Spring?
glad this is like a oh yeah, like 6-7 months out kind of thing. You know?
Yeah.
Sounds like April.
I'm so glad they held this close to their chest, because this would have been a nightmare to wait for like a year or two. Yeah, I'm super excited. If you haven't played like any of the 2D Kirby games, I think the two I'd probably recommend are Superstar or Star Allies. Star Allies had a lot of content added post launch, like a
Dude,
like
if you
a
boot up
butt
Kirby
ton.
Star Allies now,
So many
it's like
links.
5 minutes of just you got this, you got this.
It's
you
a
got
different
this.
game than when it was when
Yeah.
it launched. So if you buy it
100%
now,
that game is-
and the reason they did that is because they were celebrating Kirby as like his last 2D hurrah before they took him in a new direction. So if you want to know what Kirby was about, play Star Allies. But
And then
we
the
get-
next franchise to get this treatment is F-Zero.
I
God,
wish.
hopefully.
Next up,
And now we're getting it in that.
we got Splatoon 3. We got a second look at that game.
Oh man.
Speaking of post-apocalyptic
Specifically
setting.
the single player.
Yeah, and I actually have some interesting things to note about the single player. Some of those levels look a little more open than what we've experienced in the past.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
kind
so
of
ready.
similar to what we saw in that initial teaser, like that big wasteland. There's actual ground instead of just platforms floating in the middle of nowhere. So I'm interested in this. I hope that this mode pulls a lot more from the Octo expansion than it does the base single player in Splatoon 2, because the single player in Splatoon 2 is just copy pasted from Splatoon 1. It's really not that interesting.
It's something to
Pretty
do.
much.
Yeah, it is. That's exactly the best way to say it. It is just something to do. This is so much better, and I love how they're contextualizing it from a story perspective. Because now if you've played Octo expansion, there's some significance there with where the story's going. But
Oh yeah.
but the mammals are coming back.
Whatever that means.
Oh no.
Well,
That's literally whatever that means.
means the
Furry
humans are
masses.
coming back to life. is the main
That'd be
thing.
wild.
But there have been a lot of people speculating since Splatoon 3 was originally announced that Grizzco was going to be the final boss, and they're totally right because he's a bear.
Oh yeah.
So I totally think that's where this is going. But what do you guys think?
I mean, I noted, like, again, that single player stuff, a little bit more open. That was the most interesting thing to me. This one actually didn't really hit me that hard. I think I'm just kind of waiting to get an even better look at the game. Because, like, so far, really what we've seen is like, oh, here's some new weapons and some new things and like some of the multiplayer and just kind of like bits and pieces. I think they're still priming us, right? They're still like kind of just making sure that you know that it exists. It's not that far out. But you know, we still got a little ways to go. I liked the lore dump. I think that was a good choice. Just a little bit more of like, okay, the single player, we're going to be diving more into this kind of thing. Oh, we're going to talk about how this is Splatsville. It's the city of chaos, you know? So just apocalyptic vibes all around, right? I can't wait. I can't wait for Splatoon 3.
This story is the reverse apocalypse, where the world comes back to life.
Little by little. The mammalians, I confess I still haven't finished the Octo expansion because every time I go back to it, I get frustrated and
it's hard, bro. It's hard.
Yeah.
There's a lore dump in after the final boss of the Octo expansion that kind of explains how the world came to be. Very little tiny spoiler alert. They talk about humans and the human race. So I think the game is headed in that direction.
Okay. All right.
I do want to mention the power-ups we saw in the multiplayer section because I think they showed us 3 new supers.
They got like a spider ball.
Yeah.
Going on. Really liked that one.
Then there's one that turns you into like Spider-Man squid. Where you can
like my favorite so far.
The squid ninja, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like a grappling hook type of thing.
What a cool idea for Splatoon. I never even would have considered that. Yeah, exactly like a wire bug. And then I think the other one they showed was like a kind of circular force field.
Yeah, like a bubble shield type of thing.
I think that's a better compromise than the bubble shield and the squid armor we got in the last 2 games because they're a little broken. But with this big force field, you can just set it down, and I think it's a little less intimidating than those other power-ups. Daniel, do you play Splatoon?
I do. I've played throughout the entire first game, the second game, Octo expansion. I played a lot of the multiplayer as well. I was looking at the trailer again, but yeah, the different like weapons that they're showing here, they're so interesting. Like the whole like ink slinging is really interesting. like something that you don't really expect, but it somehow makes a lot of sense in context of the world itself.
Yeah.
But, that, and then you got like the single player mode where I still want to try out like what is it like to use this crossbow? Like what is it like to use this?
It's be a cool weapon.
This round like this little like spherical mech that you're playing with, but having more context on the single player, like there's so much that they can do with it that I've been wanting them to do with it. Like the second game was literally just it was just there and you could play it again, and it's pretty much the same story, but just kind of like it was structured so that Nintendo could pretty much like set it up to whether it was Callie or Marie that won the final Splatfest for Splatoon 1, and then now they're taking a way bigger step here with the whole like chaos thing that's going on, and as you said, the reverse apocalypse that's happening. Wonder if we'll get like a Order DLC after the fact, so like a different take on the story. If Order had won, like there's so much that they can do with this.
That'd be pretty cool because, like, if they designed the Splatfest in the first place, it stands to reason that there are design documents out there that
or what if,
that show what it would have been if it had been Orders.
Yeah, so, I'm curious, like, as to like if like how that happened. Like, what did it affect about the world, right? So they had plans for Order, they had plans for chaos, and maybe all that Order stuff still exists, within the actual canon, and they just, okay, no, we're gonna focus on the chaos stuff,
I think it's
Or
another
maybe
city. Because, like,
You
Splatsville is the
think
city
so?
of chaos. You could say
Right.
that Inkopolis is the city of order, but that might be too easy to do. I think it'd be more interesting if there was another city out there that was the city of order, and maybe there's like a competition between them for some reason.
Oh, right,
hear me
right.
out,
Some
like, it's-
rivalry for survival or something like
Like a
that.
futuristic setting or something for order.
Two sides of the same conflict, though. You could go from order to chaos and chaos to order.
That's true, because we don't know how the plot's gonna play out, so we might end up with order after all.
That's the dialectic. That's how it works.
Anything else about Splatoon 3 before we move on?
Yes, but this is gonna be one of the strongest games of next year especially like for the Switch in general, because there are people that I know that stopped playing the multiplayer after when they said that the last Splatfest was gonna be the last Splatfest, but they've done like 3 since. So some people are just like, I'm not going back, I'm not double dipping. But yeah, ever since like Octo expansion, they took Splatoon's story and lore in a whole new direction that I never would have expected. They did leaps and bounds with this franchise that I haven't seen them do in any other Nintendo-based franchise, point blank period. Like Splatoon is the strong, like there's a reason this game became one of the top 5 Nintendo franchises in like 3 games. Like it is such a great franchise, and there's still so much that we haven't seen. Like we don't even know if there's like every single game has got us new shopkeepers, new music. We don't know where Pearl and Marina are.
Yeah, we didn't even
Like
see
they
that.
haven't even been shown yet. Like we don't even know if there's gonna be like a new musical group or whatever. Like there's also still like the whole thing where we just rescued Callie, so now she has her own thing in the story now. It looks like the protagonist from Octo expansion is now one of the main quest givers for the single player campaign, which canonically is the first inkling to go through the campaign in the first Splatoon. So that's dope.
Yeah.
There's lore oozing through this whole game, and I am so looking forward to seeing what's gonna happen with this.
I do like that they're
closer we get.
they're doing that Pokemon Gold and Silver approach where the protagonist you played in the previous game becomes a character in the next one.
Mhm.
That's so neat, because now we have 3 protagonists that we've played as who will be supplementary characters in the main story, and that's cool. Finish the Octo expansion, goddammit.
It's so good.
Editing's so good.
I hope they bring back some form of a salmon run too, because that would be dope. I want that to come back. I'm also wondering how they're gonna handle like there's a lot of I wonders with this, but just saying whatever the whole thing with the story and the lore, I'm looking forward to it. This is my favorite Nintendo franchise at the moment.
I'm
just
still
based
crossing
off
my
of everything
fingers.
they've done.
I'm still crossing my fingers that story mode is multiplayer.
Ooh, that'd be
that'd
cool.
be
That'd be
good.
great.
Love a co-op.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Mhm.
yeah, I'm hoping that by the time we get the next update from Squid Labs, that they'll delve a little more into like probably multiplayer at least, and that at some point they're going to announce a test fire at some point, because that'll happen at some point given the other games.
I think like the first couple months of the year we'll get our first test fire, and then probably a Splatfest test fire after that.
It's for sure gonna be like an early summer release, probably.
Yeah. Speaking of early
Yeah.
summer releases, Monster Hunter, Sunbreak.
I'm happy.
I told you all it was happening.
What a
And-
good subtitle. What a rockin' subtitle. I could not have come up with a subtitle like that, and it's so good. And we only got that single teaser. We got here's the flagship monster. Here's this like what else does he look like? Alatrion.
He looks like a Dark Souls monster.
Look, I was
Yeah,
thinking it was like a
no.
Castlevania crossover or something for a second. I was like, what the heck is this
I was
thing?
kind of getting
It
Kushala
was so
vibes off of
funny.
it.
I was actually guessing Super
Yeah.
Mario Odyssey 2 first. No, I unironically, because there's that one level with the dragon.
Yeah,
that's
with
got
the
that
dragon
same
fight.
vibe. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, Sunbreak. Oh my God, you rise, Sunbreak. Oh my.
that's so funny that
good.
like you look at the graphical style of the intro, and like it looks as though they're going to be a lot of people were expecting like a Smash reveal, and it has that same kind of like setting, like for example when Hero was shown, that very like dark purple in the forest kind of setting. And
When I
then you see
popped off-
and then you see Rathalos.
When I popped off during the GVG stream, it's because that's the train of thought I was going down. I was like, this looks like a Smash CG trailer. And then I saw Rathalos, and then I lost my goddamn mind.
And it was like, oh man, they really started with the Brandon Direct here today, didn't they?
It was a Brandon Direct. But they didn't tell us any other details other than it's a massive expansion. We know what it is. It's the G-Rank expansion. They did it with Iceborne. So it's going to, have another rank, more quests, more monsters, all that stuff. It's going to more than double the content. That's what they always do. That said, a week from today at TGS, there will be a presentation at Capcom's TGS to show us more details for Monster Hunter Sunbreak. Or should I say any details, because they didn't tell us anything. But summer 2022, a little later than I expected, because they usually try to hit right on that 1 year. But if it needs time to cook, so be it. I'm willing to wait. Launches this
that massive of an expansion.
That's kind of where my mind's at. I'm like, maybe it's bigger than we're used to, so that they're putting a little more time into it. If you haven't played Rise, or you'd rather play it on PC, I've got good news for you. It's launching alongside the PC version of Monster Hunter Rise Sunbreak. So they'll have parity at launch, which could mean that we're getting cross saves, and I'm really hoping that we do.
That's where my mind went. I want cross saves. Okay, because I'm playing through. I mean, I haven't played in a few weeks, but I've been playing through World again on PC. Right?
Yeah.
I love that game. It's great. It feels great. I do wish that I could just pick up where I was at on the thing, especially since if they had cross saves when it launched on PC, I would have bought it again so much sooner. So if they do cross saves for Rise, you better believe that I'll be playing on PC and on Switch and the back and forth as needed. Please, Capcom.
Daniel, I'm going to induct you. You know that's going to happen, right?
I don't think I can escape it at this point.
No, you're
Are you
locked in.
Are you not a Monster Hunter person?
I haven't played a lot of Monster Hunter at all, and when Rise came out, that was very much like Brandon's thing, and I kind of observe it from behind, and I kind of I haven't really explored it as much as some of the people around here have.
I'm a special breed of Monster Hunter casual where I financially support the franchise, yet I do not play the game. I was like, I'm gonna play this so hard.
I mean, I got into Monster Hunter via Paul and Brandon. College Monster Hunter Tri-Ultimate on the 3DS.
Many hours played in that game.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically, if you become friends with me or Paul, it's fate.
You're eventually gonna play Monster Hunter.
It's fate that you play Monster
You're
Hunter.
a Monster Hunter.
Yeah.
How convenient for you that we have a whole show where we play games together.
Maybe I was planning something.
Oh no.
But yeah, that's all we got for Monster Hunter. So as you can tell, I'm very excited, but you already knew that.
Happy for y'all.
Something I know we're all excited about, though it comes with a couple caveats, is the update to Nintendo Switch Online that we're getting at the end of October, which includes Nintendo 64.
I was ready. To pop off about this.
Nintendo 64 and Sega Genesis. No Game Boy, which came as a surprise.
Yeah.
I mean, the Genesis instead of the Game Boy was the thing that made me pop off.
That's
I was
so
about to
funny.
say, Game Boy, but I'm so much more excited for Genesis games.
I owned at some point both a Genesis and a Game Boy. And I definitely, I don't know, the vibes from a Genesis. Very excited. Also, why only Sonic 2? Right?
Yeah,
like
obviously,
Wait, was Sonic 1 not on there?
Sonic 1 isn't on there.
Specifically
Sonic 2. Now, that being said, Sonic 2 is the better game. It's also multiplayer where Sonic 1 isn't.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
But it does seem weird that we only get one Sonic game, not counting Dr. Robotnik's Mean Bean Machine, and it's the second one, right?
It's kind of weird because this game, Sonic 2, and a lot of games that are coming to Sega Genesis Online are games that are currently available for purchase on the eShop.
That's what I was thinking, right?
Yeah,
I'm like,
you can
wait,
buy
didn't
these
didn't
games.
you own these?
Well, now I can own Sonic 2 for the 90th time on my various consoles throughout
It's
the
like
years.
Mario Brothers, man. You got to get on everything. And then they're still releasing the Sonic Origins thing in a couple months or
Yeah.
something, or next year
Yeah.
or whatever.
There's gonna
I'm
be
just
like 4
geez,
different ways to play Sonic 1 and 2 on Nintendo Switch.
they'll get you somehow, I guess.
Listen, I'm glad that I don't have to plug this in to play my Sonic anymore. Now I can collect dust and peace over there.
You're a lucky duck.
What does everybody think about the selections for each of them?
I am disappointed in the 64 collection, but I'll get to that in a second. I'll let
They
everyone
gotta
else speak
milk it,
first.
man. They gotta milk it.
I thought, okay, I think the initial launch makes sense. You have a lot of the big staples. There's like 4 Mario games in here, right?
I wasn't actually expecting to see stuff like Mario Tennis in there. That came as a surprise.
That was
Yeah, I was expecting Super Mario 64. It probably would have been unforgivable if
to.
it didn't include it at launch.
It had to.
Considering you can't buy 3D All Stars anymore, so I knew this was happening. We knew that when N64 eventually made it on Nintendo
It was
Switch
gonna
Online,
be on there, yeah.
it was going to be on there.
It's a sin not to put Mario 64 on there.
Yeah,
Yoshi's
and
Story was a pleasant surprise for me,
Yeah,
to be honest.
there's-
That's a throwback for me.
That's one I haven't played, so I look forward to playing that one. I look forward to revisiting Ocarina of Time. The only time I've ever beaten Ocarina of Time is in the 3DS remake. I thought it was interesting that they put Sin and Punishment on here, because that's a
point.
game
Yeah.
I hear a lot about and haven't touched. So
It's
I'm
also
excited
Japanese
to-
only, so they're
So it's not
giving
coming
it
to the American shop? Oh, it is.
It is.
Yeah,
but
I
like
mean
the,
they've
the
been doing
original
that more
Japanese
recently.
only.
There are
Yeah.
definitely other games on the service that are Japanese only that they haven't even
Yeah.
translated, but some of those are like puzzle games, so you don't necessarily need to know the Japanese.
Yeah, I
to-
was about to say,
Yeah.
like, in Japan.
to the show.
Thanks, internet. This VOD's probably gonna look real weird after it's done, but you know we out here trying.
Oh, yeah. Stream's back, yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Any
Logan,
content
hello.
is
You were-
content.
you were talking about Winback, I think, before we died.
Yeah, what the heck is Winback Covert Operations?
I have no idea.
See, okay, so this is the thing, and obviously we've only really gotten this with NES and SNES games so far, but I'm beginning to like find that the appeal for me for the NSO offering is all the weird stuff, right? It's all the weird, like nobody knows what this is, right? Except for like a few enthusiasts over here who are like, I have a copy of that game.
I
you
do have
know?
a theory on why that is for this like offering, why it'd be a little bit more like straightforward and less generic. Because it's actually going to be an additional charge. I feel like they probably felt like they have to sell it, so they have to give you things that like they know you're gonna want to play, so that you will pay to play it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't put all the
yeah,
eggs in the
yeah.
basket on that.
But,
Right.
I mean, it's still also just the starting lineup. They will, I'm sure, like get to that part where they're like throwing things in that are just really like, what is this game? What is
It's gonna
Winback?
take a while though, because the N64 library was swole. Like I had physical N64 games when I was a kid. I had like at least 30, all good games.
All right.
So
Did a little Wikipedia research. Winback was developed by Omega Force, Koei Tecmo,
yeah,
developers of the Dynasty Warriors.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
At first, I thought it was Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, that's not even possible.
And well, okay, citation. There's probably some citations that I need to double check, but apparently on the Winback Wikipedia, sorry, it says Wikipedia, so take this with a grain of salt. Winback's cover system eventually went on to influence several later shooters, including Metal Gear Solid 2 and Kill Switch, in which influenced games like Gears of War. So that's interesting in and of itself. That maybe the reason why it's here is that it did a few things that people were like, hey, this is pretty cool. And I don't know. I've never heard of this game before.
I kind of look
baffling
forward
me.
to some of that though, because like
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was
Yeah.
saying about the NES and SNES games. It's like I don't know what this is, but this is cool.
yeah, there's a few games that I played on NES and SNES online that I'd never heard of, but I ended up really enjoying. So to push that forward in N64, which is a relatively small library, I think it's like 200 and something games total. I think there's a lot there that could surprise us.
I hope we get the Chameleon Twist games. I really hope we get Chameleon Twist 1 and 2. Those games were so good.
I've never played those,
They were
so like
freaking fire.
I would take that. I think the starting lineup for N64 is okay. Like there's 9 games here. Mario 64 is a big one, as well as Ocarina of Time. The thing with Mario 64 though is the one we got on Nintendo, Super Mario 3D All Stars, was the Shindo version, which was the Rumble version in Japan, where they fixed some of the bugs, they changed some of the voice lines, and then, a few other small changes. I've seen some people speculating this might not be that version, so we might go back and get the classic N64 version, the first one that had the backwards long jump glitch, the one people play for speedruns. So that'd be kind of interesting having 2 actually different versions of Super Mario 64 available on Nintendo Switch.
It.
Yeah,
That
So
would be dope.
I think that's kind of neat. But the main thing I kind of wanted
Bowser call out too.
That's true. The big thing I wanted to point out though was just like this relatively small number of multiplayer games that they put in here, at least at launch. Like we got Mario Kart 64, which is great, Star Fox 64, which is great, Mario Tennis, and I think Dr. Mario is up to 2 players.
It says 4 players.
Oh, it's 4 players? Okay. So there's only 4 games with multiplayer, unless Winback has multiplayer, but I don't know because I've never heard of
The
it.
game featured a standard multiplayer
it,
mode
yeah,
and a
it has
bot
multiplayer.
mode in the PlayStation 2 version of the
Okay.
game. So I don't know if we'll get it here.
And then I'm not
Even
sure
on the
about Sin
Horizon, they're
Punishment.
not
We'll
really
see.
like increasing that number either.
With the
Yeah,
ones
Sin
coming
Punishment.
next.
Yeah, there's still not a whole lot of multiplayer games there.
Yeah, we got Mario
like
Golf,
Splatoon.
F-Zero, and that's it as far as multiplayer goes. Well, Kirby 64 had mini games, but not really.
Pokemon
multiplayer
Snap had,
games.
or not Snap. I was thinking Coliseum or Stadium. Yeah. No Smash Brothers either, or Mario Party. Those
They're
were-
back,
were
they're
Smash.
back pocketing those ones.
Those were the big
ones.
4 I was looking forward to.
We'll get Smash Bros down the line. They gotta get this last DLC out for Smash Ultimate. They don't want it to overshadow it. Like all of a sudden, like Smash Bros launches on NSO, and then Ultimate sales just absolutely plummet because nobody wants to play Ultimate anymore.
There's also like that new Mario Party game, which might explain why there's not the classic Mario Party offer
Yeah.
yet.
But they
Oh,
are adding
take-
Mario Golf. Well, it's not the same thing, I guess. 'cause
That
Mario
is
Party
true.
Superstars is there.
The
That
same could be
is
said for
true.
tennis.
That is also.
I was
yeah.
gonna say maybe we actually maybe I don't want to play OG Super Smash Bros on Nintendo Switch Online, because there's not gonna be any rollback netcode. Like, why would I even play it online at that point?
I have to say, my experience with Switch Online's actual online performance has been stellar. Me and Daniel, we had like 0 latency from
Oh,
what I
that's
remember.
good.
Mario World, yeah, there was like absolutely. It was just like playing in the same room with each other, essentially.
Interesting.
Yeah, so if that's the case, who needs rollback netcode for Smash 64? But yeah, this is nice. Having Genesis is also a nice boost. That could mean we could see like TurboGrafx, Neo Geo, some other stuff later down the line. That said, I would rather them just keep filling out the Nintendo library because, I do want to play Game Boy at some point. And
Yeah.
GameCube, but I'm not so sure GameCube is ever going to happen.
If we can at least
Never
get up
say
to the
never.
N64, like that's
It'll be
a start. A
Yeah.
good
no,
start.
I think it'll be like another 2-3 years. I think they're just gonna keep like stretching it out, and they'll still grow the NES and SNES a little bit, probably here and there, and then add small amounts of N64 games, and then until people get pissy again about how there needs to be more content on the service.
I guess that's a question I have because they showed us some of the games coming to N64 later, but they did not make it sound as if there's anything beyond that. And I'm looking at their website, and they make no mention of it at all.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
I could have swore there was something about like and more to come.
Oh, well, if there's more to come, then that's fine.
Yeah, they did mention and more to come.
Upcoming
Okay.
with more to come.
Yeah, so here's what's coming, but this isn't the end of it.
This is just like their current horizon of titles they want to release within the near
What do you think?
future.
Pay an extra $20 a year, and yeah, this is all you get.
Yeah.
I just hope they don't drip feed it.
Yeah, like one
Ugh.
game a month or something. I
Ugh.
hope it at least like 2 or 3 maybe.
I hope they set the expectations on like how often they are going to give us games and like how many.
Yeah. Instead
I'm sure
of like,
that'll.
here's 5, nothing for 2 months. Here's 3 more, nothing for 4 months. Here's another one.
And they're like all games we've never heard of, and
Yeah.
also they're garbage.
Did they
Quest
say
64.
anything about getting more Sega games?
They specifically only showed the N64, so
Yeah,
I mean,
I don't, they made no mention
I
of
would
that.
hope that we'd get
Yeah.
more, because if this is all that we got, like, you know, the trend on the service is that there's a console and eventually it will get more games. So I'm expecting there are going to be more Genesis games, but they probably don't have like the clearance to say that like, oh yeah, no, we're absolutely. I imagine that's a little bit more of a struggle because they have to interface with Sega as well.
It's kind of nice though having 4 separate consoles now, so they don't have to rely just on NES and SNES games to add to the library. There can actually be like a healthy mix. So maybe the additions to the platform will be a little more frequent, even if they're not like substantial. Because that's the main problem. Like David's been saying, like we've been waiting like 2-3 months. It's just so offbeat and inconsistent.
They could also get into like a rotation for it. So like
That's
this
true
month
too.
we get new N64. Next month, that gives them like 4 months to prepare the next game. But then it doesn't feel quite as empty for us because we're still getting something every month.
Yeah, and there's still like a couple like flagship Super Nintendo games that we don't have yet, like Earthbound and Chrono Trigger. Where are they?
RPG.
Yeah, Super
We're getting
Mario
Paper
RPG.
Mario before RPG. Like,
That's wild to me.
mhm.
Did I know we talked a little bit about this when our stream died? Have we talked about the controllers yet?
No,
Not on stream,
Not
no.
yet.
I want it.
Okay, I heard some discourse about it while my internet was dying.
Yeah, I haven't cared about the SNES or the NES controllers, but I want the N64 one because, I mean, that's just where I came in gaming. So that one has a special place for me. That's
feel
why
that.
I want it. But also, I haven't been like that's the same price as an N64 controller used in good condition anyway. So like I want it. Like just give me that. So
It's just such a unique configuration and way to hold the controller. Like even if you can play with like a pro controller, I can't imagine it would feel as comfortable as playing with like the actual like
yeah, like playing
the Z
Kirby
trigger, the C
64
buttons.
with that D-pad, man.
Yeah, that's
It's also, it should be noted that it's the most accessible controller for people with 3 hands, you know? Like how many other controllers actually account for that, you know?
I have some worries about this because the stick on the original 64 is notoriously like garbage.
Oh yeah,
literally just a piece of
I
plastic.
always had to buy new ones.
Yeah, so I hope that that's addressed here. I imagine it will be. But I want to point out that they're like missing out on a gold mine here. Whoever in their life bought a gray 64 controller? We
I had
have
the one, I had
orange, yellow,
Yeah,
I have like
purple.
great colors.
yeah.
those see-through
Bring
orange,
back translucent consoles. What the heck, Nintendo?
This cannot be the only option for the 64 controller. I would be shocked. Because there's
it
If they
probably
sell
is.
if they sell an atomic purple one, I'll buy that one.
oh heck yeah, I'll buy that too. Like
I missed all the fruity ones, like the grape translucent one, the when they went like watermelon, glacier when they went with crazy with their names. There was like a whole line of those, and they didn't bring like
Yeah.
anything like that back here.
yeah,
So good.
I have to think that that's happening. I'd be really disappointed if it doesn't. And they're just like sitting on money if they don't do that. Because all the
Sometimes we
collectors
just-
out there are gonna buy every single color.
Every single one.
It's like sometimes we can just tell Nintendo what we'll spend money on, and they're like, "No, keep your money." But
I mean,
instead, just pay the extra money for the games themselves.
If they won't do it, people will just sell
yeah.
paint jobs on the internet or new shells.
Mhm.
Like, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
I do want to point out that the Sega Genesis controller is the 3-button version and not the 6-button version. And I thought that was an interesting choice. I'm not as familiar with Sega Genesis, but I know that the 6-button controller was useful for like fighting games and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I just found that odd that that's not here.
I mean, with the Mini, they did the 3-button configuration too.
I
Oh,
think the
okay.
3 buttons a little more iconic, right? Like most games, you can just kind of get away with just having the 3-button controller.
Sure.
And then the 6 button is obviously useful for some other stuff.
I think Daniel's bringing
I
out a
think that makes
6-button right
sense.
now.
Yeah, 6-button controller right here. Where's the love for this
Also,
one, huh?
I'd argue that yes, there's more utility with the 6 button, but it's uglier.
It is uglier.
Kind of a weird, like it's like a sad boomerang shape, to be honest.
It's the sad boomerang. But yeah, so we're gonna find out about this stuff at the end of the month. I assume that both these controllers will go on sale. We'll get the actual price of the expansion pack. I have to mention my love for the fact that they're calling it the expansion pack, because that's the name of the port on the back of the 64 controller.
Mhm.
I
But
want
they
them to
spelled
sell
it
gimmicks with
PAK.
that.
Come again?
I want them to sell like gimmicks for that, so that you can actually get a Rumble Pack and pop it in.
That'd be
God.
so funny.
It'd be so unnecessary.
It would be definitely be unnecessary, but it'd be funny. So yeah, I hope that it's between like $5 and $10 extra. I don't want it to be too obscene because there's going to be another tier later down the line with more consoles.
Yeah, those other things, yeah.
Unless they just add them to
Eventually
expansion pack, which would be nice.
I think it'll be interesting to see how it goes, like going forward, because I think what they're doing here makes sense. They can add extra content, while also being like, well, if we're gonna add this extra content, we should probably raise the price, but they don't want to raise the base price. So at the very least, people can opt in to paying extra for this kind of stuff. And then I wouldn't be surprised if at some point they just decide to be like, all right, yeah, no, the plan's $30 a year instead of $20 a year, and it comes with everything. And then, here's an extra charge for GameCube games. I think personally, though, totally kind of like out there, I think GameCube games and Wii games will eventually make their way to the platform. I just think
They're
it's an
gonna have their whole
inevitability.
history on this thing eventually.
Well, we already know that the Switch can emulate those things.
Yeah.
We know that they have
Yeah.
internal emulators that they've been developing because that's how they're doing this right now. We already have a GameCube game and a Wii game that have been emulated on the Switch, So I just think it's a matter of time. I don't think it'll be anytime soon. Obviously, we're just getting N64, but I mean that's all I can ask right now. And
I think the
Genesis-
GameCube definitely deserves it at this point because it's 20 years old. It shares my
can-
birthday.
It can only
Yeah.
I can only keep walking into used game stores and seeing Thousand Year Door for $120 used until I crack.
It's like one of the only consoles that the Wii U did not emulate. Like it emulated every handheld up to the Wii, and then everything
Mhm.
beforehand. And no love for GameCube. Apparently, all we get is Super Mario Sunshine and a bad port of Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, and that's all we get for like the next 2 years.
What a
Mhm.
garbage port. I was so mad.
Uh,
Yeah, so in addition to that, I want to pull this page back up if I can find it. We got a couple other smaller things. I thought Voice of Cards, the Isle Dragon Roars looked interesting. Kind of that card game deck builder
Oh.
strategy game from Square Enix.
Yeah,
I
I remember
like
a
hearing
card
about
game.
that.
too.
by like Yoko Taro, and I'm hearing music by Keiichi Okabe. I'm like, oh my god, this is like such an epic looking sounding card game.
And it comes out at the end of next month.
It comes like a day
October,
a day
it's
before
got
Mario Party Superstars.
There is a
it's
free
also
demo
$30.
out today if you want to try it.
Oh.
So definitely get that downloaded.
Say that.
A game that really surprised me that I'm super excited for is Chocobo Grand Prix.
Oh my god!
I
Final
can't believe
Fantasy
they're
card.
bringing this series back. I've never
Looks
played.
quality.
Yeah, it does. I thought it looked cute. There's
It looks
lots
so
of
lovely.
lots of character pulls. I'm probably just gonna play as Black Mage, not gonna lie, but up to 64 players can compete in tournaments online. And I think that's pretty neat.
Seems
That's
wild.
The
I'm
mechanic
also
that like really jumped out to me that I really like enjoyed is that you can like build different of the like items or power ups and like increase the level of the spell.
that comes from Diddy Kong Racing, and I am so happy about it. Like that's speaking to me. Now just put in an adventure mode with boss battles, and I'm sold.
I'd really love a kart racer with an adventure mode again.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. And
Um,
have it be co-op without having the co-op be hidden behind a code. That'd be nice if it was just a feature from the outset.
why is it a code? I don't get it. There's a couple other first-party things I want to chat about really quick. How many of you have played Age of Calamity?
100% complete
not.
right over here.
Okay, me too.
For some reason.
A little bit.
So they're adding some extra story stuff. We're getting Purah and Robbie. They're a 2-in-1 character, which is kind of neat.
It looks
Yeah,
so
that's
funny
dope.
together.
There isn't a character like that in the game yet.
Yeah. And then there's an additional hidden character that they haven't revealed, which is nice. And it looks like I can't tell if it's a supplemental story or if it's a story of what happened had Terrico not been able to go back in time. Because it looked like he got shot in that trailer by the Guardian.
Yeah, it looked like they crushed that egg right
Yeah.
right then. And I was like, oh my god.
So
Yeah, that's part of what people wanted to see. Like a lot of people who were going into this game thought like, oh, this is gonna be how we find out how Breath of the Wild was set up, and this is gonna have a bad ending. But then they went and did the whole timeline thing with Terrico. So I'm really curious to see if this is gonna be like that story that we didn't get, that a lot of people were curious to get from the get-go.
that would be neat because like it would actually be canon to Breath of the Wild story. Well, to its specific timeline. For those of you who haven't played Age of Calamity, you find out right at the beginning of the game that the timeline splits in Breath of the Wild. There's one where Terrico goes back in time to fight in the war alongside everybody, and then the one that we got where Terrico never made it back in time. And from the looks of it, that might be what this DLC is covering, and that's cool.
Yeah.
There's also a couple places in the game we'll get to see that we hadn't before, such as the Colosseum and Kakariko Village. And we're going to learn more about the champions, which I'm always down for.
Yes, I'm always down to learn more about these characters that did not get enough time in the base Breath of the Wild game, and it was so cool to see them in Age of Calamity. If they keep going on with that, I will just keep coming back to it because they're great characters.
We got DLC for Mario Golf Super Rush today. A couple new courses as well as 2 new characters. Koopa Troopa and the more interesting one being Ninji. Ninji's never been playable before, so that's cool.
In like anything.
Yeah. I'm a little confused though because one of the courses is a desert course, and I'm like, we already got one, don't we? I thought
Have
we
another.
did. I mean, I might be misremembering, but regardless, it's neat that it's getting more content. We got to see the other boards in Mario Party Superstars, which is Horrorland and Yoshi's Tropical Fruit Island.
Yoshi's Tropical Island. That's from the first Mario Party game. Yeah.
Looks beautiful too.
It's weird that we got 2 boards from 1, 2 from 2, and only 1 from 3.
Didn't
When-
even get
Like they
Western
didn't
Land,
just
and we
round it
didn't
out
get
to
Outfits.
6.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just 2 for each game.
I would have rather them done that, but oh well. There's going to be a minigame mode called Mount Minigames. It's competitive with a couple different course types. It's multiplayer, and it comes out on October 29th. I don't know how much more is in this game that they haven't showed us, but I don't really care because most of it's online, and that's all I needed to know.
Yeah. I'm so down for this game. I've been waiting for this to happen for a long time. Basically, what we wanted the top 100 to be was just a collection of what made the games great, except there was no boards in that game, so what was the point?
And some of the
So-
minigame choices were just like objectively bad.
Yeah, they had to choose 10 from each game, and or about that amount, and some of them were just like why would you pick this game over this one, for example?
Not
This
to
t-
mention this game being just like a hard return to form for the series, right?
It
Yeah.
is Mario Party.
Like,
yeah.
it's not your Super Mario Party like nonsense with the multiple dice blocks and the 1 to 6 dice blocks and the tiny
Okay, to be
boards.
fair, I like a lot of those mechanics in that game. I really,
Yeah, I
I
do
do
too.
like
Mario
I do
Party.
like how each character has like a unique dice block, and you can use that for strategy and such. But
They're poorly balanced, but it's a good idea.
I'm just
Check
happy
it.
that stars cost 20 coins again. Make me work for my gold, please. Like
That means you have
Yeah.
to. That means you get 10 coins in minigames again, which I was super not cool with in in Superstars, or not
Yeah.
Superstars, in Super Mario Party. And another game getting an update is Animal Crossing. I think we talked
About
about that.
damn
last year.
time.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
Jesus.
Brewster is finally coming back. Brewster may not be getting like the plot of land that there's like so many people that have a plot of land just waiting for Brewster to come back, just like me as well. And now he's going to be regulated back to the museum because he had the museum spot back in when he was introduced,
Wild
I think,
World.
in Wild World and
Yeah.
in City Folk as well. And I guess he got his own place in New Leaf, and that's what people were hoping for in New Horizons. But I mean, it's Brewster. We'll take it. We'll take the coffee shop finally.
Well,
just
We don't necessarily know that he doesn't get his own shop. That could
Yeah, what if
be
we
like
get the,
like an
franchise?
upgrade. Yeah, he
Yeah,
could
maybe
get a
he's-
franchise.
he might start
Is
up
it-
yeah.
I'll say this. I mean, we're obviously going to find out more about this update. They've dedicated an entire direct to it. Like, even if it's
Yeah.
20 minutes, or 15 minutes, it's still a lot of time to cover a lot of new content that could be coming to the game. I imagine that a lot of this was pushed back because of COVID. I mean, this game hit when COVID was taken off, right?
People
So
never
they
had
finished
same
up
time.
development.
It came at the same time, and there just
Yeah.
hasn't been like ever since ever since the whole year has passed, and since March really throughout the beginning of this year, there really hasn't been a significant update to this game at all. There's just been like little bits and pieces here and there, but the Animal Crossing Twitter used to have like a small video showing your updates every month, but that hasn't happened like in several months now. So having a direct is such a nice like change of pace,
Right.
and gives people some hope that there's still life in this game.
Yeah,
I
'cause
think
we
they're
had
gonna-
the one update like post launch that gave us like swimming, like we had the summer update,
That was
and then the
cool.
rest of it was just seasonal
Events.
events and whatnot that now they have
playing
all of them in
crops.
the game.
Mhm.
Yeah, but even like some of the crop stuff is like pretty specific for those kind of events and whatnot.
Mhm.
They have utility outside of them, but it's
But
pretty
I think it's pretty clear that the update that we're going to hear about in this direct is going to be substantial.
Oh yeah.
There's going to be some mechanical updates, which I know a lot of people want. And they announced Amiibo Card Series 5, which to me means there's going to be a villager dump. They're going to add probably like 30, 40, 50 new villagers to the game, like they did with Welcome Amiibo back in New Leaf.
They could do
I
that, or
want Nook's Cranny to no longer be Nook's Cranny.
where's
Yeah, I
my
want
Nook and
that
Go?
7-Eleven update.
Yeah,
Where's
where's
my-
not even
where's my
necessarily,
Safeway?
like, Nook
Give me
and
the
Go.
Konbini.
Like, what's the next upgrade? Maybe there's just one upgrade and it makes it like absolutely massive, like Nookingtons, in
Nookingtons,
the
yeah.
original game and whatnot. Like, let me go
Turns
into
into
like a
Target.
bougie, like 2-story store and just have like a ton of stuff to like choose from. I'd
Let me
love that.
spend my bells to make my island larger.
Make it larger.
Don't
if-
tease me like
If
that.
they add enough stuff, like it's going to be too crowded, so they'd have no choice but to like give us more
Give you
room.
more room.
Yeah.
Oh my
Let you
God.
have, like,
Island expansions would be insane.
So like if they do add more villagers and you can expand the island, they give you the option to have more villagers move into your town, so that you're not just
Could you
limited to just to 10 anymore.
Oh, that'd be great.
Too many possibilities. Or they could do the lamest thing ever and just make Series 5 just the new villagers like Raymond and all the ones that don't have a card yet.
Please don't
could
do
be
that.
That could be the lamest thing they do with the series.
But yeah, we'll get that update in October. They have not dated it yet, and they haven't said how long it is, which is different than what they did with Super Smash Brothers, which they did give us a date, October 5th, and told us it's 40 minutes long. And the title of it is The Final Sakurai Presents.
And he's going to show us the character and how they play the same day, which
Yep.
means they might drop
Yeah.
literally the week after that.
They
Or,
might
like,
drop that
then-
day.
That'd be pretty freaking crazy.
I mean,
And
they've done it
everybody
before.
forgets about Banana Mania.
Poor Banana Mania.
There's a lot
Poor,
happening on that day, to be
poor
honest.
Nick
There's a lot
All-Stars
happening on
Brawl.
that day.
Yeah, that's the same day.
Any quick speculation on Smash before we move forward?
Who knows, bro?
Oh my
They can
goodness.
do anything at this point.
It's
I
gonna
just-
be
I
Captain
honestly want
Falcon
Crash.
2.
I want Crash. That's my dream character at this point. I want Crash.
No matter
Sakurai
what,
himself.
no matter what they do or who they announce, there's going to be people angry about it, and
Oh,
there's gonna be people
100%.
and there's gonna be people
Mario
who love it.
The sequel.
I'm going to go ahead
Uh,
and say, since I'm pretty sure we're not getting Monster Hunter, I'm just going to throw out Phoenix Wright. I think that'd be a fun one.
Yeah,
But
that's
I really don't care who we get, because I'm
I got
satisfied.
Banjo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Echo
it's
the
gonna be
Dolphin.
Captain Rainbow. It's gonna be
Echo the
Captain
Dolphin.
Rainbow. I got a feeling.
My wife
Yeah.
made the point that it needs to be someone that absolutely no one likes. That way, everybody's disappointed equally.
There you go. And I guess outside of that, we just got a ton of third-party stuff. Is there anything that we haven't touched on that stuck out to anybody here?
How much have we talked about the Mario cast?
Oh,
We-
we haven't
I
talked
forgot.
about it at
Movie.
all.
Thank you for reminding me. Okay,
Because
so
that's the thing I was
that's the
most
hot
excited
point.
to talk about.
That's the
all
best
right,
part.
all right. I'm gonna list off a name, and I want all of you to react. Chris Pratt.
I don't.
thumbs
I
down.
don't even know how he got.
No.
Charlie Day. Charlie Day.
I'm like mid.
What
Well-
shows is he in? I don't know him.
Parks and Rec.
Always, it's always sunny.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
okay,
always
that's
saying
why.
Philadelphia.
Oh,
my
And,
Luigi.
Fist fight.
Chris
Uh,
Pratt's in Parks and Rec.
Jack Black.
That's
Oh.
a great casting.
Jack
I'll take him
Bowser.
in anything.
Come on, Jack.
Okay,
Bauer.
okay. So I had a lot of mixed reactions. Like there's a lot of other names in here that I'm not necessarily familiar with, but definitely mixed reaction. My favorite thing about this whole cast is the reactions. It's the
Every-
fact
it's
that we got
hilarious,
people
dude.
left and right
Just-
being like, Chris Pratt.
I think Miyamoto
Enjoying
was
the
talking about
chaos.
that part. So I think Miyamoto is just a fan of Chris Pratt because he's like he said something real
It's even
positive
better.
at that point. He's just like, yeah, Chris Pratt's gonna do a great job with Mario, and we're just like, is he
Prove
though?
it.
I can
Like, you-
imagine.
like,
I can imagine
Miyamoto's
like
on, you're telling me
Miyamoto
you heard Chris
fangirling
Pratt.
over Chris Pratt. Just has like, oh wow, Chris Pratt, he's so funny. All right, yeah, no, he's Mario, so he hasn't even auditioned. It's like, no, he's Mario now.
After like they
Miyamoto
announced
approves.
Chris Pratt, like everybody else was just like, "Oh well, I don't care anymore. Why is Chris Pratt Mario?"
And that's
If-
not to say
if
I
Mario
dislike
sounds
Chris
like
Pratt. I
freaking
like him fine.
Star-Lord,
It's just a
I'm gonna
weird
have a
choice.
fit. I'm gonna have a fit if he's just like, I don't know, just super laid back, not even like leaning into like the like Italian vocal stereotype, you know,
Someone
that
just,
Mario
like,
occupies.
just a
Sparks of Hope trailer is just
It's me.
Guardians 3 now. Like,
Oh,
Hey, it's
God.
me, Mario.
It's a me, Mario.
yeah,
And
that's
then,
gonna be an interesting one.
I think like Anya Taylor-Joy is a great choice for Princess Peach. She's a fantastic actress.
Yeah, she was like incredible in the Queen's Gambit and things like that. Like I just didn't expect her as Peach. It's such a different role than what I'm used to seeing her doing.
Yeah, but she's gonna nail it. I can tell you that.
Keegan Michael Key as Toad, my boy.
That's my favorite casting by far.
That is the funniest thing I have seen in a while.
You
I just
posted
saw
that.
the
You
edited
posted that
pictures of-
Aaron meme.
I
I
love seeing the pictures of Keegan with the toad hat on him. It's just like it was always meant to be.
I genuinely can't wait to see Donkey Kong do the Seth Rogen laugh.
I don't know
I
what I
had
was expecting.
I
I was not
mixed
expecting
opinions
this
about this one.
absolute like, oh,
Such a meme, bro.
A-listers across the board, just like some of like
Yeah.
the most like famous talent in the world being like, yeah, okay, we're gonna absolutely pack this Mario.
That's one of
movie.
those.
the one thing I could
right?
give like Seth Rogen is I know for a fact he's a game fan because he's worked on a bunch of video game related projects.
Yeah.
You know, as an impassioned fan.
yeah.
So I'm like, cool, that's cool. Please don't talk.
Like Seth Rogen, if you hear a voice come out of a character, it's just Seth Rogen, bro. Like
Yeah.
he did Pumbaa in the Lion King thing. It's just a Seth Rogen warthog. Like it's literally not Pumbaa. It's just.
I'm
Seth Rogen
looking
warthog.
forward to that laugh.
None of this stands out to me as Donkey Kong, but like in the case of Jack Black, Jack Black to me
Jack Black
is
is
what
fun
Bowser
enough.
would be.
That's
but
like a really good choice.
as long as they
Jack
like
Black
deepen his
has enough.
voice.
He just has enough fun with his roles to where you just be okay
Yeah.
with Jack Black being
Yeah.
Bowser. Like you know he was just amped to get that role. But everyone else is like, did you really get the call and try these try out for these roles? Keegan, you tried to get Toad.
This is my dream role right here.
You see, he's just like he looked at it on his like itinerary. He's like, that'd actually be pretty funny. Do it just as a joke, and then he got it.
As for the rest of the cast, I'm not familiar with Fred Armisen, Kevin Michael Richardson offhand,
I don't know.
or Sebastian Maniscalco. But I do want to point out like that we've got Donkey Kong, Cranky Kong, and Spike, Foreman Spike from Wrecking Crew, which just tells me right away like this is a Super Mario origin story. We're gonna see him when he worked for Foreman Spike and Wrecking Crew. We're gonna see him as a carpenter in Donkey Kong. And then that Donkey Kong is going to grow into Cranky Kong in the future, and then we're going to have the current Donkey Kong show up as well. So I don't know what's going on with this story, but we're getting the beginning in there somewhere.
I like where this is going.
This is gonna be like this is something where this 1000% needed a trailer or a clip. Even if it was 10 seconds, I just need to see Luigi and Mario talk to each other for 10 seconds. And
That's
I'd be
crazy.
like, okay, I'm down with this. But it was like right now it's up in the air. We're just like, this is just like insanity at this
Can be
point. We don't know
anything.
what to expect. Like Idris Elba as Knuckles, that's dope as fuck. That's dope, right? We
You hear
want
that and you get it
Yeah.
immediately.
exactly. But
Yeah.
Seth Rogen, Donkey Kong, Chris
It's
Pratt,
just-
Mario, why did that happen? Like we don't get
Casting
it.
team.
The Fred Armisen casting absolutely fascinates me because my experience with Fred Armisen is like SNL, Portlandia.
Okay, if you're
a few of
saying
his other roles.
if you're saying those kinds of roles, him being like a smarmy, sarcastic Cranky Kong, that makes sense. Coming from those kinds of
it
places.
just still sounds funny to me, and not necessarily that like I figured like with Charles Martinet, with the nature of like the voice of Mario and Luigi, that they obviously wouldn't go with him for like a movie setting for like this. But I'm still trying to kind of fit the voices in with the characters and still trying to be like, how does this work out? I think I'm just really fascinated at this point. I think that's the most accurate description of my feelings about this casting. Is like, I'm like, all right, now put me in the seat.
This is
Let
where
me
it's
watch
like,
the movie.
Now more than ever, we need to come together as a people and nip this whole virus thing in the bud because I need to be in a theater in IMAX, popcorn
all
and
right.
soda in hand. Looking
Right,
at this,
I hate
and
to
need
break it to
hear-
you.
I need to
I hate to
see
break
this
it to you.
in person.
It's not happening.
I'm so
You're just
we need to
you're
rent
just gonna
out a
have to
whole
like
theater, bro.
you're just gonna have to hope that what happened last time was that
You guys want to see, like, the
tickets
Monster Hunter
can't
movie
sell
in theaters?
enough, and so they just rent out a theater for like $100, so you can just go see with
It'd
know,
be
a
worth it.
handful
It'd
of
be
your
100%
friends.
worth it.
Yeah,
I would totally do that.
Oh, totally. Like, I don't care if the movie's bad. Like, this is Mario. I'm
Yeah,
going to go see Mario. I do want to mention a couple other facts about this movie before we move on. Aaron Horvath and Michael Jelenic, the people behind Teen Titans Go and Teen Titans Go to the Movies, are directing the film.
That sounds pretty good.
I love Teen Titans Go. I know that is a controversial opinion, but I think it's great. Go to the
Show
Movies
in its own
is
right is very
super funny.
incredible.
It's
Yeah.
such a good movie. So I'm super into all that. And then it's being written by Matthew Fogel, who wrote the Lego Movie 2. And
This is gonna be a
Okay.
funny ass movie.
yeah, I think we're in
It's
good
gonna be
hands
so
here.
Funny. Yeah. Okay. I'm instilled with confidence then.
Yeah, there's still a level of confidence here. Like that's outside of the casting choices, like knowing what characters are in the movie and then who is putting the movie together, I think it still could be good. And I hope that's not just me being as optimistic as possible, because I don't want to be disappointed.
If it doesn't disappoint Miyamoto, then hopefully it doesn't disappoint all of us.
Yeah, because he's good when it comes to like even like those Pikmin shorts, right? Like there was no voicing, but as a individual entity, those were top tier animations. So this movie with Shigeru Miyamoto watching every single thing over these people's shoulders and its illumination, their animation team is great. Like, yeah, this is gonna be a Swimming in Sevens movie probably. If it does any better than that, I'll be very surprised.
The one thing I'm not so sure about is the release window. It's coming out
literally next winter,
December 21st. Yeah. And I'm looking this up just to make sure. But is that a good month for films, or is that a dump month?
No, that's usually like that holiday, winter, Christmas movie. That's usually like it's gonna be fighting a Disney movie or a Pixar movie, so that's gonna be cool to see. But it's usually like, yeah, there's usually 2 big animated movies around December's. So.
Oh, yep, you're right. I'm just looking it up now. So like summer and then November and December are the big movie months, and I just wanted to be sure because like, are they confident in it? Knowing that it's releasing at a hot spot like that tells me that they think it's gonna make money. So.
Well, yeah.
I think despite the casting, or despite people's feelings about the casting, I'm expecting a certain level of quality, given that Miyamoto is involved. If anything, that might hold it back in the sense that it maybe might end up being way too generic, but also like some of these character choices that have been confirmed for the movie make me think it's going to be a lot more interesting than I once anticipated it would.
Well, and we already have Miyamoto's proof in the pudding in terms of his filmmaking abilities with the Pikmin shorts, which are really good if you've never seen them. They are. So, like, knowing Miyamoto was on board instilled me with all the confidence I needed from the get-go. And I hope that he has the right amount of control, like, not too much or too little. I hope they've arrived at that sweet spot. But like we've been saying, we still haven't seen any footage. We don't even know if Mario looks like Mario. I'd be really upset if he didn't.
Yeah, it's weird that we also haven't seen what anyone looks like yet, too.
We did get that question block render, which looked really nice. And
you don't know what Mario looks like?
I'm just saying.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't know that Mario's gonna look like Mario. We just anticipate that.
Bro, what if they pull some type of next generation freaking Super Mario Brothers movie bullshit, right? Like we get Luigi and a snapback,
like materials.
Yeah. No, we have nothing. We have nothing.
Outside of the question block they released today, that was the first image ever. There's a fake one floating around that you
Let's
might be
start making
of.
bets, right? Let's start making bets. Which character is gonna do a Fortnite dance first?
Luigi.
What dance is it gonna be?
He's gonna floss. 100%.
Luigi's is gonna floss.
He's 100% gonna floss.
No, I think Luigi's gonna dab like he did in Mario Rabbids. Luigi's gonna dab.
Oh, you're right. I think he's gonna floss and dab.
He's gonna floss. Luigi's gonna be a dancing ass character in this movie.
All right. But do I have to watch the prequel to this one?
Yeah.
For it to make sense?
It's required viewing.
Probably.
The one released in '93.
Oh God. I mean, yeah. So, like, going off of that, right? We all have an idea in our head of how these characters are gonna look, how they're gonna interact with each other, but they could literally just pull that, but animated, and it can be it can go in all
like Mario.
It can go all sorts
really
of directions.
Detailed.
It can go in all sorts of directions. So I am looking. This is gonna go all sorts of places, dude. We're gonna be in a timeline.
I imagine probably around summertime, I think, is when we're gonna get our first like real look at the movie.
E3 reveal.
I honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if they
Jeff
did that.
Keighley is getting a teaser at the Game Awards. I'm telling you right now. He's getting
world
a teaser
premiere.
At the Game Awards.
And he's gonna have a stupid smile on his face when he's announcing it.
No,
and he's gonna
Jeff Keighley's gonna
double
be
his
voicing
words.
somebody.
My favorite thing about my favorite thing about Jeff Keighley is whenever he's on stage, he has the most like incredible sneakers on every time. He's always wearing sneakers, and I have to point it out because I respect it. But I are there any other comments about Mario?
I just wonder who Charles Martinet is going to voice, because they were very coy about that.
That's
I
true.
think he's gonna be a Shadow Mario character.
I think
He
he's
won't be
going.
Mario, but he will be a form of Mario.
I think he's going to play Mario in the video game version of Mario that shows up at the end of the movie after they make the game about his adventure. Which would be a callback to the original Super Mario Brothers movie, the Super Koopa Cousins.
Okay, so like of the characters they've revealed for the movie, I mean, Martinet only voices Mario and Luigi.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have not heard whether Wario or Waluigi are in the movie or not.
True.
What if he just voices Wario?
Man,
Honestly,
pretty clean.
I'd
He
be
does
He's
have
done
fine.
it a lot
speaking
in
roles with
Wario
Wario.
lately.
Like, would you want to replace Wario? Not that Wario's even in the movie, you know. Just a thought.
I think that's totally possible.
But
Like, there's
we
other.
get Danny DeVito as Wario.
I would be down with that too.
This being said, I'm very glad they acknowledged that Martinet is involved in the project, and that he does have speaking roles. Like, it would have been absolutely unforgivable if he just wasn't involved at all. You know, for somebody who's been the voice of Mario for like the entirety of Mario's speaking life, you know, it'd be a real shame.
I'm gonna create my own dub of the movie where I play Mario and Luigi. Just to.
There's gonna be so many fan dubs of that first trailer, bro.
Just
There's
gonna
gonna be so
correct.
many.
I'm gonna
Yeah.
correct.
Could you
an
imagine
issue.
having like a bonus dub though, where
The-
Martinet voices all of his characters?
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be
Put that in
awesome.
the Blu-ray bonus features.
Yeah, and that's like that becomes the definitive version after the fact.
I still want to hear the branding cut.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's
Yo,
gonna
oh,
happen.
but all.
Are you willing to fund it?
No.
We have an audience.
I'm just gonna
We'll
do
find a
it.
way.
But yeah, we'll eventually see what this movie looks like. I'm still looking forward to it, despite some of my grievances with the cast choices. And like you said, I'm thankful that Charles Martinet is actually involved at all. I'd be very upset if he wasn't, and if I were Charles Martinet, I'd be negotiating my contract right now if that were the case. Other than that, there are some other games in here. Did anything stand out to anyone before we wrap up?
Not really. I mean, a lot of the extra stuff was just stuff we already knew about, and we know that's coming. Like, we could talk about Metroid Dread, but the game launches in 2 weeks, so
Yeah. I mean, we got
Yeah.
Deltarune Chapter 2 came out on Switch today,
I
along
already
with
beat it, so.
ActRaiser's getting a remake. It came out today. We got to see more Knights of the Old Republic. Looks kind of like doo-doo. I'm not gonna lie, but Castlevania Advance Collection I think is probably the biggest thing in terms of third parties, because that got leaked and now it's here. So if you love Castlevania, especially the GBA games, these are the ones you want to get. And that's really about it. They reminded us about Shin Megami Tensei 5 and Rune Factory 5. That's really all they did.
Oh, also,
But-
does it seem like Mario Golf Super Rush is getting more love than Mario Tennis Aces ever did?
yes.
In some ways, yes,
Okay,
and in
cool.
some ways, no. Because, like, I think Aces got characters at a faster rate, but Golf just had more in the game at launch.
Golf also has a better adventure mode.
Ninja looks so cute running around like that.
Golf is
He's
also just a
adorable.
better game. You heard that nowhere. I didn't say anything. Anyway, I think that's it for Nintendo stuff this week, unless anybody has anything else.
Kirby's in 3D and Bayonetta's back. I'm happy. I'm good.
The
We're
same.
done with Nintendo stuff for this week. That means we're gonna be doing more episodes. Am I right?
Well, about
Right.
that.
I mean,
Yeah, we are
that's
coming back.
Smash and Animal Crossing.
So one of the things for me was like balancing this with GVG stuff and all the other work I do. Literally today, I did the reaction stream with GVG. I finished that. I went back to work on a video I was working on in between that and this stream. And now I'm going to finish this stream, go back to working on that, and then work on another video after it. So, like, I'm sorry. I'm just
don't stop.
I'm just trying not to kill myself. That's really what it comes down to.
Please rest.
I think that's important. I think it's important.
Yeah. But for now, and I think the date will change because we're anticipating a maybe a schedule change for you, Paul.
Hopefully, fingers crossed.
So if that schedule change does happen, we're gonna move this show to the weekend, which I think just works better because the main thing I want to do is I don't want this to overlap with like today's news tonight or anything, because that'd be weirdly conflict of interesty, and I'm not about that. But you can follow me on Twitter at Merrilleaf_. You can follow Paul at Gunnysaurus. You can follow Logan at LoggyDoves. And where can we find you, David?
You can find me over on Twitter and every other part of the internet under David RDW. That's DAVEED RDW. And I'm over on Twitch, streaming on Condiment RDW, and also posting on YouTube and things. And also I make TikToks like a cool kid. So yeah, okay.
And Daniel, what about you?
You can find me mostly on Twitter at Evernight Studio. I'm doing a lot of graphic design here and there. I share commissions that I do for friends and people that I know within a lot of them within the Good Vibes gaming community, which you can also find me in here and there, especially doing Good Vibes Arcade with Brandon right here.
It's me.
Yeah, it's it.
Yeah, so thanks for watching the show. Follow Break Room Arcade's official Twitter at Break Room Arcade. Though, to be honest, most of the updates are probably just going to come from one of the three of us, if I'm being real. But until then, we will see you next Thursday at 8 p.m. Central Time once again for the next episode of Nintendo Stuff. I'm telling you the truth this time. But until then, don't break your backs, breaking the games. But for now, break time is over. Bye.